Good evening. My name is Brandon Mowinkel, and I am a 1998 graduate of Osmond High School. And I'm married to Shelly Kreinert, a OHS graduate of 97. It's a great honor to be here tonight to recognize a man that has given so much to the Osmond community over the last 50 years. Those of us that grew up, live, and now raise our families in small-town America know there are certain aspects of small-town life that make them special. Whether it is thriving downtown, strong churches, a philanthropic-minded community, job opportunities, or its schools, we all know and understand within each of these businesses and organization lies the heart of any community, its people. Small towns rely upon church members that mow the cemetery, individuals who volunteer their time at the library, the community members who mentor our youth through teammates, the gentlemen at the coffee club each morning discussing the weather and the latest local politics, or the ladies who bake goods and make meals for church gatherings or to deliver to families in need. People are what makes small towns special. And tonight, we have the opportunity and good fortune to recognize a staple of the Osmond community for the past 50 years, Mr. Randy Jochum. As a school administrator myself, I get the opportunity to speak to my colleagues from around the state. Hometowns are often the topic of conversation, and when I say I'm from Osmond, more often than not, they will ask, "Do you know Randy Jochum?" With a smile on my face, I respond, "I know Randy better than most." Since joining Osmond Community Schools 50 years ago, Randy has just about done it all. From teaching PE, anatomy, biology, and Spanish, to serving as athletic director and principal, his influence is felt by nearly everyone in this building. And coaching duties and responsibilities, his impact grows even wider. From 1974 to 2000, Mr. Jochum led the Tiger basketball team, accumulating 326 wins, four state tournament appearances, including a state runner-up finish in 1994. Anybody around during the 90s who will remember the excitement around the school and pride these teams brought to our community. Upon our return from Lincoln in 94, the sign that sits in the middle of Main Street for special events read, "Number 2 in the state, but number 1 in our hearts." It was definitely a week many of us will never forget. Randy also coached football for 1 year and the golf program for nearly a quarter century. In addition, he spent time coaching many other sports, both formally and informally, over the years. I am sure one of the most memorable moments on the sideline was coaching the 1994 junior high 8th grade boys basketball team to a 3rd place finish at the O Club tourney. I'm sure you remember it fondly. You backed it up the next month with a state runner-up, but we won exactly 1 game that year and got a trophy for our accomplishment, which I am sure sits proudly next to the state runner-up trophy from the same year. We're bad. But Randy's influence can be felt way beyond the playing courts and the school walls. For me, Randy was like a second father. After moving to Osmond in the spring of '89, Jochums became my other family. I spent many evenings and weekends at ball games, fishing, golfing, attending Catholic Mass, or camping in Yankton, first in the camper and then in the cabin. Randy and Linda allowed me to tag along with Matt, Katie, and Kelly, whether the girls liked it or not. I have so many fond memories of riverboat days, state softball tournaments, or quiet twilights on the golf course, squinting to see the ball as we were on the course long after we should have been. But then a ball would come whizzing over our head, and Dr. Jones would have hit into us, and still really we had a cup. And we would know we still had plenty of time for a few more holes. Randy would do anything for me and provided a lifetime of memories that Matt and I still often talk about. One of these evenings was in junior high. Randy took Matt and me to Yankton to fish. As we pulled into the parking lot on the outflow side of the dam, a guy was walking up with an entire stringer full of fish, claiming them to be walleye. As we walked down to the river, Randy just laughed and said, "Those aren't walleye." Regardless, the gentleman was right. The fish were biting and hitting hard. Cast after cast, Matt and I would pull in these giant fish. At some point, Randy went to his truck to check the master angler guide, as we might have snagged one ourselves. It appeared as if we had, but it was dark and late. Randy told us to load up our stuff quickly as it's almost 10 o'clock and the dam bait shop on the South Dakota side would be closing soon. When I say we tore out of the parking lot, that would be an understatement. The brown two-tone Chevy Big 10 truck with the homemade box camper flew down the road and over Gavin's Point Dam. Now, I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations has long expired, so I can safely say that we didn't wait for the lights to turn green or abide by the 24-mile-an-hour speed limit the few miles it took to cross the lake. But sure enough, Randy made it to the bait shop in time and we weighed in our fish. Matt and I both had master angler drum, the one and only I've ever caught, and more than likely the one and only I ever will. Randy would do anything for us, including breaking multiple state laws in 2 states so we could have a memory for a lifetime. Every small town and community needs a Randy and Linda Jochum, as we know no individual does it alone. Your contributions are endless and will be felt for generations as your legacies live on through your children and their spouses, all Osmond High School graduates. Kelly and Jason Macklin, classes of 1994. Katie and Craig Johnson, class of 96 and 95. And Matt and my little sister Amanda, class of 2000 and 2001. And the thousands of students, staff members, colleagues, and community members you have touched. Thank you for 50 years of dedicated leadership and service to this amazing community.
Thank you, Brandon. Thanks to all of you. Appreciate that. When Margaret called me, I really didn't know that I needed a stressor like this in my life. But I felt obligated to do it for our school, which has been an integral part of my life for so long. It would have been very difficult for me to turn that group down, who are all former students of mine, who we asked to do so many things in school, and they always gave it their best effort, so I couldn't say no, Margaret. I had to do it. As I said, I was a bit nervous about speaking in front of all these people, because you know that I'm rather shy guy. My wife and kids reminded me that I like to visit with every stranger I run into, and that these aren't even strangers. These are all your students, parents, and people you've worked with for a long time. Last time I was asked to speak at a banquet in this hall, many of you would remember, was a father-son banquet. And the guest speaker was a guy named Tom Osmond. And we were sitting up here, I think, and Tom was sitting right there. And nobody paid any attention to me the whole night. So my part was pretty easy. Tonight, as several of them reminded me at the golf course today, that you're going to have to bring your A game. We're there to listen to it tonight. I heard that several times. Aaron Gooch said, "Coach just tells stories." Well, I heard several stories at the golf course today, and I can't share those. But one of them I would like to share, some of you will know about this, was my first Osmond encounter. 1966. Some of you will remember this. We had a football game. I'm a kid from Elgin, and we played Osmond. I think it was homecoming game, right, Dan? Yes. I think it was homecoming game, and it was played down here on the baseball field, outfield. And the game was played, and when the game was over with, an unusual thing happened. the Osmond folks invited us to their homecoming dance. And that just doesn't happen, but I remember it. I was a freshman, and we got changed, and we walked down to the good old multi-purpose room, you know, where everything happened, and stood against the wall. Like a bunch of junior high kids and watched them dance. Any of you remember that? 1966? I do. 6'1", 130, black horn rimmed glasses. Not one Osmond girl asked me to dance. As I approached tonight, I felt I needed to write some things down because I knew I couldn't stand up here and wing it like I used to at pep rallies and other times. But I also am a strong believer in that forgetting curve. The teachers back there know what that is. We learn that in workshops that, 50% of what is learned, read, or studied is forgot within 24 hours. Each day that goes on, it gets a little worse, and then you put age with it. I had to write it down so I would remember. As time goes on, I believe more and more in destiny. Some things are just meant to be. All things happen for a reason. Sometimes you can't explain why. One definition of destiny is a path that an individual takes to where they are destined to be. Many of the things that happen in our life may not be destiny alone, but the result of a series of decisions that we make. Decisions that gradually make up who we are and what we want to be. Many years at graduation time, our seniors post their mottos on the wall, remember? And most of the time they have something to do with today and tomorrow, what the future will bring. How many of you remember what your class motto was? Was it relative to you? Is it what you thought it would be and who you would become? Many graduates leave school with a grand plan of what they want to do with their lives, and others leave with uncertainty in their future plans. For many, those grand plans changed and led them on the journey to where they are today. I had students in anatomy class who said, Mr. Jochum, we're going to be nurses, we're going to be doctors. And they did. They are. I had students who said, we're going to own our own business. They did. Several of them told me they were going to be teachers. And they did. One young lady says, I'm going to go to the military and fly a helicopter. She did. Doc Johnson, at age 15, while scooping manure in the yard, said, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm not going to do this. Right, Doc? So he headed to Wayne State Medical School, and he did. I share a couple of personal stories that may have set my destiny. Chances are some of you will have stories similar that led you to where you were today. When I was in kindergarten, a long time ago, we had this infamous nap time. You remember when we used to do that in school? We had this carpet Mom sent from home, and we rolled it out on the cement band floor, and we were supposed to take a nap. That wasn't my thing, so one day I decided to check out and head home. Now, I lived about 12 blocks from school, and I got all the way home. I think they got a search warrant, come got me and cuffed me, brought me back to school, gave me the stern warning about that better not happen again. About 3 weeks later, I went for it again. I got about halfway home, and the principal caught me, threw me in the car, and hauled me back to school. I guess I didn't want to be in school. I don't know what else to say. I got a brown star on my report card in nap taking. Remember when we got stars? Today, I would be a blue star all day long. The irony of it all is that through kindergarten, through junior high, through high school, through college, and all my years at Osmond High School, I've never gotten out of school. 68 years of being in school. I could never get away from it. Now, it isn't that I didn't try. When I was in high school and when I was ready to go to college, I was going to go to University of Nebraska, study wildlife sciences, be a game warden, something to that effect. It was my plan. It was those grand plans. But shortly after the first year of college at the university, I thought I wanted to play basketball again. So I took off for a good old Kearney State College, played a little basketball, got a teaching degree, and graduated in 73, something like that, at semester time, at semester time. So I needed a job, so I wound up getting a job with Kenworth Motor Truck Company. And I know you're going, yeah, that guy's a truck guy, all right. I didn't know a cab over from a conventional. I didn't know a Cummins from a Detroit. I didn't know anything, but I was hired by a man who believed that you can hire good people and you can teach them to do what you want to do. So I had a job. I was making pretty good money, actually, I thought. But while I was working there, my college advisor called me and said, hey, how's the job search going? I said, well, I'm not really searching. I'm pretty good where I'm at. He said, you know, there's a job at Osmond High School that I think would fit you pretty well. So out of respect for him, who was a man I did respect in my college days, I said, okay, I'll check into that. So I got home at lunch that day, and I called the school up here. Don Vanderheiden was the superintendent, and I talked about the job, and Don goes, well, when could you come for an interview? I said, 4. So he said, I think we can make that work. So I called work and I told him I wouldn't be coming back in after lunch, and Linda and I took off for Osmond. We got out here to the Creighton Road and I had a flat tire on my car, so we had to change the tire and got into town, and I had to clean up, so I stopped at the old Skelly station and I met my first resident of Osmond, Hank Schmidt. Hank, and then I told him I needed a place to, so I went in and cleaned up as best I could. Showed up at school and walked into the superintendent's office, and the whole school board was sitting there. All of them. And we weren't prepared for that at college. We figured it's you and the superintendent. So I figured I was doomed, and I did the interview, and I walked out of there thinking, I'll go back to work for Kenworth. A couple, 3 days later, Mr. Vanderheiden called and said, we'd like to offer you the job at Osmond High School. So I went home and we talked it over and thought, you know what, maybe we'll give this a try. I went to my boss at Kenworth and I said, I think I'm going to go take a teaching job. He wished me luck, but he also said, if you stay here, I'll double your salary. Now listen, I was making, I think like $16,000 or $17,000 there. That was big money because the teaching contract they offered me was about $6,000. And to my grandkids, that's $6,000 a year, not a month. So we still talked it over, and we decided that we would come. So we loaded up our home on wheels, and we came to Osmond. That was 50 years ago in May that decision was made. Things happen for a reason. Some things are meant to be. In looking back, I am so glad that it all worked out the way it did. So many memories were made in that journey. I started and ended my career here. I raised my family here. I have a deep appreciation for the board and the administration who hired me and gave me a chance. That's all anyone wants, is a chance when they're looking to begin a career path. As I was trying to put some things down on paper one day, my Apple News popped up and it said something about, if you could reboot your and take a new career path, would you? No, I wouldn't. I have no second thoughts whatsoever. So many great things happened to me in my time here, and those things are directly relative to many of the people that are out here in this hall. I walked the hallways with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of great young people, and a few ornery ones. I got to teach in classrooms with so many determined and motivated students who had their sights set on doing their best and leaving their mark. I walked those hallways and spent many hours in that gym with my own kids, which we talk about often. I was able to coach so many great student athletes, sharing the highs and lows that athletic competition brings. All of those state, district, conference, regular season games, all those golf matches will forever be fond memories, as will personal relationships made with those players. As players or in life in general, we know success is not given to us. We have to earn it. Obstacles and struggles are part of life that only serve to make us appreciate our success more when it comes. I often told our players that they may not remember all of the individual game statistics, exactly who won, who lost, who scored how many points, but they will remember their teammates that they had and what they shared with each other. I was able to take that journey with so many inspiring staff members, including teachers, administrators, and support staff. Teachers who all shared the common bond of getting the most out of our kids. Yes, Terry, it's our kids. It always was, right? We were anxious to see not only what would become of our graduates, but also who they would become. Many of us have that special teacher or two that helped them shape us to who we are today. Some of those folks are here in this room tonight, and we are thankful for their service. When you work and live somewhere for a long time, you make so many acquaintances and relationships that become lifelong. For me, it was not only the students, staff, and parents from Osmond, but also the coaches and players, even the officials and parents from the other schools. So many of those relationships remain close today. In my time at Osmond High School, 1,359 graduates passed out our doors upon graduation, set out on their own journeys. I filled out a lot of graduation cards in my time. I commonly used one line: wishing you a happy and successful future. As teachers, we always hope for the best for our students. With great pride, we have in front of us tonight success in so many ways and in so many professions, and hopefully not just successful, but happy. Members of the medical profession, businessmen and women, military, technical and trade professionals, the agricultural setting, transportation, lots of teachers, and so many more. While in school, they left their mark, shared their talents, and strived to reach goals. Some of those goals, some of those marks they left were valedictorians and salutatorians, all state, all conference, state qualifiers, school record holders, honor bands, honor choirs, homecoming kings and queens, class officers, honor roll students, student council, student aides, leads in musicals and plays. I could go on, so many more. Setting these standards or marks in association with teammates and classmates that they will always remember and who they keep in contact with today. Osmond graduates continue to leave their mark, share their talents, and to give back. In every walk of life they have proven their worth. In their careers, in their communities, in their church, and most importantly, in their families. They serve on school boards, town boards, church committees. They're Sunday school teachers, they're firemen. They do volunteering, they do mentoring, they are youth coaches. Many of those graduates, though very far away and busy with their own family and careers, continue to leave their mark and to give back here. They do this by supporting whatever cause they can, whether it be fundraisers, coming to games and concerts, sending well wishes, donating to the school foundation, or providing scholarship opportunities for students who, like them, wore the orange and the black. We see the black and the orange everywhere here tonight. Those school colors represent our school spirit, our school pride. School spirit is the heart of the school that produces a sense of belonging. We flew these colors for so many years in so many ways. We wore the black and orange sports uniforms, the band uniforms, the leather jackets, the cheer outfits, the wild combinations with homecoming dress-up days, and also on game nights. The coaches also flew these colors. We dressed many times like we didn't own a mirror. Remember those orange plaid pants? My grandkids go, "You didn't?" I go, "Oh, we did." We also wore those bold letters of OSMOND on all these uniforms, representing school and community. We did this proudly. Young students watched their heroes wear the black and the orange. These young students grew to proudly wear the black and the orange. And many now watch their kids and grandkids wear the black and the orange. This holds true in all of your schools, not just Osmond, any school that's represented here. Your school colors represent your school pride. So wherever you call home, and whatever those colors may be, whether it's Malcolm or Bennington or Midland, big school or small school, those school colors are so important, and the school spirit is a very important part of that school. It is what bonds those students together. As for tonight, alumni reunions serve many purposes. This event is a celebration of us, who we were then and who we are now. We are here to reconnect, rediscover, rekindle old friendships, and maybe start some new ones. We share memories and stories of our journeys. It is said that everyone's school played some role, whether big or small, in who and what they became. It's true for me, and I imagine it's true for many of you. So, not sure what brought you here tonight, whether it was destiny or your spouse making you come. We are glad that you are here. For those who returned, thanks for coming home. For those who live here, thanks for making Osmond your home. It's important to keep our school and your school pride alive. To all Osmond alums and to all here, continue to share your talents, leave your mark, and make a difference. You never know where your journey will take you. Thank you.